Eline Hilal, Head of IR and Company Secretary for Alba in Bahrain. Thank you very much for your time today. It's such a pleasure to have you doing this interview with us. First of all, I wanted to express my congratulations to you for winning the first category in the IR Professional, as well as the leading corporate in IR for the MEIRA Awards 2020. Congratulations on the success. I think it's not an unfamiliar position. You've had winning positions in the past. Tell us and share with us your thoughts about the awards and what they mean to you.
Thank you, Amani, for this opportunity and for MEIRA, of course. A recognition from the people or investors, fund managers, analysts, sell-side, buy-side analyst, pension fund manager, you name them. This is not my award, actually. If they think we are doing good, we thank them very much. And if we are not doing good, it's a wake-up call for myself and for the team to improve and to get better at what we should be doing. Great, of course, for Alba or Aluminium Bahrain to be recognized by external community. That tells a lot on their vote of confidence in the management, of course, because I'm here. I might be the interface of the company, but it's actually everyone in the company who should be recognized for this award, because it's a team's work. It's not a one-man show. So we're very grateful for placing their trust in us, and I hope we continue on this journey. What we knew yesterday doesn't apply today. So for the first step that I want to give to the potential or future IR practitioners, you should first lose your ego, and don't think because if you know too much today, you will do good tomorrow, because tomorrow it will be different than today. And you should always equip yourself with the right tools in order to keep up with the same performance, if not getting better.
I would like to segue actually into what has been happening over the last year and still continuing to happen this year. Great level of uncertainty, which has obviously impacted and changed the way you're interacting with your stakeholders. Tell us, how did that impact your IR engagement, and what are the measures that you have taken?
Okay, I would like to focus on two aspects of this question. There is a downside and there is an upside to your question. When you start a year, actually, you build upon the lessons that you have learned in the previous years. That 2020 was considerably, in terms of IR practice, it's gonna be still easier than what we are doing now in 2021. Because up till February 2020, we were still able to see people face to face. First, you break lots of barriers. However, in 2020, people would still remember us because we've met them in 2019. So it would be easier for you to connect. Today, it's been almost a year. I have never seen the investors for the last 1 year. So since February 2020, which was the last time we have met the investor via a non-deal roadshow, you haven't have a good roots with those people. It's gonna be very difficult to continue on your journey because you might have to start from scratch. We've been for the last year communicating virtually. We have never met them in person. The management, the CEO, the CFO haven't met with investors in person. And I don't think we will be able to do it unless we have better clarity from the World Health Organization. So it's gonna get more difficult. So for those who thought that 2020 was a difficult year, I can tell you, brace yourself, because 2021 will be a difficult year. And they say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So we have had, I think, easy years when it comes to investor relation. And I think that's the year where actually the real performance is to be measured, whether it is on our performance in IR in Alba and other investor relation practitioners, because this is where we should prove our perseverance, our resilience, and our tolerance, and to move with the flow.
What are the measures, the specific measures that you have actually taken to overcome those challenges, and how did you manage to maintain those relationships? And more importantly, how did you manage to establish new relationships in this current environment?
So, and honesty is the best policy. And I think before we started the recording, I stated that you report to the external community, you do not report. You are here translating what they want, translate or conveying their messages to internally within the company. Yes, we had challenges. We are actually, it's a 10% free float compared to what we used to do in my former company. This is completely different scale. But we learn on the day, and we keep saying we only learn by doing and we only improve by practice. Another thing, communication is key. We started sending comfort letters to everyone, to all our stakeholders, whether it is shareholders, regulators, London Stock Exchange, Bahrain Bourse, Central Bank of Bahrain, Ministry of Industry and Commerce, investors, bankers, financial analysts, you name it. We sent 3 comfort letters in 2020. On every quarter, we were sending a comfort letter. The same comfort letter, by the way, went to our suppliers, and it went to also to our clients. And by comfort letter, we only wanted to go outside IR practices by just speaking like I am doing with you today, by taking things informally and engaging with you to tell you what is the situation and how Alba is mitigating these challenges by having the right procedures in place. And when I did share the first time the comfort letter, actually I didn't know that I will receive lots of response. I said, just like, sometimes when you do like mass communication, you do not expect you will receive lots of feedback, but we've received lots of feedback. In fact, we received lots of thank you letter on a personal basis, because we have broken some barriers which we have never seen before, because we went out of our way. We didn't wait until the results were out to just have this informal chat and being honest with each other. So it was well received. We have done another comfort letter in in third quarter, and another comfort letter in the fourth quarter of 2020, and I think it was well received. So to me, if I am to give an advice, another tip is, do not wait for something to happen to start talking about it. You can always provide hints or a helicopter view of what the company is undergoing today and what the company will do in the future to get back on its feet. And in 2020, yes, it was a difficult year, but I would tap on the positive aspects for Aluminium Bahrain. We've been the recipient of many awards. We got 2 IR awards. We've been ranked #1 in Bahrain in terms of our environment, social, and governance practices, which was very, very, very pleasing. And we have actually we have achieved the highest production ever since the company started for the last 5 decades of commercial operation. So yes, it was difficult. Used a lot Microsoft Teams, and I am not very comfortable in using it. I still struggle, but I do have all the time our IT people with us whenever we are conducting one-on-one or virtual one-on-one meetings with investors. We haven't done a non-deal roadshow for the half-year results. So from our strategy as IR in Alba, so we do 2 non-deal roadshows a year, one for the half-year results and one for the full year. So obviously we have done the last one in February 2020. We have met the investors and some shareholders on a quarterly basis virtually. We're very active when it comes to the email, specifically my team. And we have participated in EFG Hermes. So EFG Hermes have done their one-on-one meeting, the virtual investor conference, twice in 2020. We haven't participated in the one for March, but we participated the one in October 2020 for 3 days. And it was really good to an extent. We are going to participate in the upcoming one in March 2021. The management as well was very well pleased, in particular the CEO. We didn't bank that we're going to have lots of attention and getting to know actually investors are still interested in Alba despite the social distancing. And you might want to say maybe not having the same connection as before, but I think it's the job of investor relation officer to be the glue between the management and the financing community.
You've just mentioned ESG. Obviously, this is of growing importance. Where are you on your investor relations journey with regards to ESG, and what are the activities that you do around ESG to engage with your investors?
The same investor actually is still interested, who is interested in your stock or in your management, wants to know about what you are doing. So it's not really a showstopper for us in doing extra work to hunt investors who should know about our ESG practices. As you are aware, Amani, BlackRock recently published a letter saying that if you are not declaring or disclosing your ESG practices and you're not talking about the climate change, you will not even be in their radar. And many funds all around the world are actually following the same the same path. Yes, Alba for maybe before 2016, we never focused on it. This is the reality. I can tell you because we published the sustainability report in Investor Relations. The first time we published a sustainability report was in 2016. It's not because we wanted to publish it. We were forced to publish it because one of our clients wanted to know about our carbon emissions. So if it was not because of our clients, because the management were not comfortable in publishing a sustainability report, although in my former company, we used to work on sustainability reports, so that was not something brand new for me. But it happens, it was not a priority for the company from 2011 until 2016. But when the clients put a restriction on their suppliers, if we do not know about your environmental initiatives and what are your intentions to reduce, in our case, greenhouse emissions, gender equality, carbon emissions, we will not be buying from you. So here it was like a wake-up call for the upper management. As I said, we will need to start publishing or working on a sustainability report to suit, of course, this niche of clientele who was interested in knowing about ESG practices. So the first year, it was not very easy. We didn't know what we were doing. When I used to work on it, I used to work for a telecommunication company, so that was completely different. I work for a different industry now. We are in a different sector, so it's completely different. So we struggled the first year, and the second year, it wasn't easy. Then 2 years ago, we wanted to know where we sit in terms of our performance. We've been actually challenged by Norges Bank. I do remember in our virtual meeting in 2017, they said, do you have a rating about your ESG performance? At the time, that was I said, what does he mean about our rating in ESG? It was like something very different for me, and I didn't know how to answer the question. And then we did some research, and we discovered that there are actually institutes that actually rate listed companies in terms of their ESG performance. So it happened that in 2019 we've been rated, and we haven't been even. I would say that we had a passing grade. We had a little bit less than 50 over 100 in terms of our ESG performance. Then last year, when we have published the 2019 edition of the sustainability report, we have jumped about 25 points from previous year performance. And that was so good because we knew that whatever we've been doing in terms of disclosure actually paid off. I cannot tell you that we are the best, and I don't think we will be tomorrow the best. It's a journey. ESG, it's a journey. A strong financial acumen, excellent communication skills. You cannot have a strong financial acumen and not have strong communication skills, because you will fail in conveying the right message. And to me, it's not about conveying the right message to you only. You need to make sure that you have a very strong synchronization or alignment with the different people you are talking to. Otherwise, you will not fulfill the company's objective, let alone your own objective within the department. We've been actually recognized as the top ranking in terms of ESG by Sustainability excellence. And that was very pleasing because it was actually a boost for us to do more of the same, because we knew that what we've been doing was actually nicely perceived. If you haven't thinking about it before, today you have to think of it, and you need to have your strategy around it. If you want to do good in environment and governance, S is always the balance between environment and governance. The people who will actually take companies into a different, take the company into the next paradigm shift, whether it is in terms of corporate governance and whether in terms of your environmental initiatives, whether it is environmental protection, protecting the environment against greenhouse emission, reducing your carbon footprint. We do not have robots working for environment and for governance. It's actually the human. If you train your people, they will be able to manage the E and G. From Alba's perspective, we've been doing very well in terms of governance. As you stated previously, I'm the corporate secretary, and we always look at corporate governance. The code, of course, of Bahrain, it gives you the guidance, or it tells you what you should be doing. But then, of course, on top of that, you need to have your common sense.
What are your top tools when you think about IR, digitization, and the technology adaptation?
Given the constitution of Alba, so today we have two major shareholders, and 10% of those of the free float is actually held by mostly retail investors and the remaining institutional investor. So yes, Thomson Reuters, institutional investors, we have dealt with them on a couple of occasions to give us the shareholders identification specifically for the GDR listing. For those who do not know, it's not because of the platform. You wouldn't know every while and then who is actually holding the GDR. So you will need to employ agencies or consultants, such as your company, for instance, to undergo such exercises. So we have tried it before. We have done it actually for 2 years consecutively in 2012. And that was after our share price dropped by about 80% following the increase of gas price news in September 2011. So we had to do this exercise. We were forced actually, because we wanted to know who was still holding the stock and who was not. And we have done it the year after. But as of today, we're not doing it because we know actually who's holding the GDR, and we do have actually one GDR holder. Rely on different boutique institutes, I would say, to give us more about business analytics, just to see how we are doing with respect of our engagements to investors. I use a lot myself feedback, personal feedback. So whenever we are actually on any non-deal roadshow, sometimes, most of the time, these non-deal roadshows are actually led and arranged by banks. So we ask them, please request the investors whom we have met and let them share their feedback on how we have done and what you think, what they think that Alba should be doing better in order for them to buy the stock. So we've been gathering investors' feedback since 2011, and sometimes it's good. Sometimes we brag about it, and sometimes it makes you sad because you know that there is something wrong and you need to find ways to change that perception. And as we know, perception is reality. Mm-hmm. So it's very difficult to change a perception because you have to work harder to make sure that the perception has changed. Yeah. The downside of that is for those who are actually the investors, they all know each other. And it might go viral, the perception might go viral. So it's actually, you have to invest more efforts, whether you are an investor relation officer. Investing efforts alone as IRO will not translate into too much management as well. And that's my advice to IRO, be very much outspoken, share your ideas and opinion. If today they don't listen to you, eventually they will. once they know about how the company is perceived, because you cannot do too much if you do not have the senior management's buy-in. And sometimes this feedback actually, it's good for the IR officers, because if you want to do the change and you couldn't do it before, with the feedback that you have, you can change. So it's actually very good to receive constructive criticism and feedback from the outside community, as that's gonna be that's gonna equip you and give you the strength and give you the drive to change things to the better.
Very good. So objective and independent feedback on how you're doing and what you're doing. I think that is helping the strategy and the IR program. Now we have a few more questions for you, which is our quick round questions. So I hope you participate in those. First of all, name a historical figure or person that you would like to meet, and what would you ask them?
I think actually I do like many historical figures, so it's very difficult to choose. But I would say that I wish I have met Martin Luther King. I like him a lot. And I think he was transformational for the history or for the journey of Americans. And I wish we have more like him.
What's your favorite band or singer?
For those who do not know, I'm Lebanese, so I speak Arabic, but I don't like Arabic music. So I more listen to French, English, and well, actually, he has a couple of nice songs, and he's a nice guy, by the way. No, I don't listen to Arabic music, and actually, I'm more into French and English music between the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, name a quote from a movie that you use in daily life.
You are never fully dressed without a smile. I think I would say that to my team on a daily basis, because the scope of our work in Alba, we sometimes try to execute your wishes and translate what you want. And sometimes you do things and they are not well perceived, and we are human beings. And so I keep telling them, irrespective of what I tell you, I want to always see you smiling, because your smile is your identity. And if you are really frustrated and the person in front of you is smiling, you get frustrated more. And I tell them, it means that you are a winner.
Which book did you read last?
Whatever you think the opposite.
Very good. And now finally, and today is your birthday, so happy birthday, Eline. What is your personal objective for this year? What kind of resolution do you have since 2021 just kicked off?
Well, I do have lots of resolutions, but first and foremost is, of course, to stay safe. I am not so very sure about the vaccine, so eventually what I would like to do. I have someone in my office. Just give me one.
Say happy birthday.
Thank you.
I have to go for my second vaccine.
Very well.
God bless.
Thank you. So I'm sorry for this. So I think staying safe should sit at the highest of my priority today. As for the second one, I'm aiming to go to Harvard for the executive education. I always wanted to have Harvard on my CV. And I think I'm ready to go for it. I think I have enough experience to sit for the executive education program.
That's great, and that's very inspiring. And I hope it all works out for you. All the best, and best of luck in your future endeavors. Thank you very much for your time and for all the insights that you shared with us here today. Again, congratulations on achieving 2 awards in the Best IRO category and in a leading company in IR for Bahrain in the MEIRA 2020 Awards. Many congratulations. Thank you very much for your time, Eline. All the best, and hope to see you this year in person.